Hey there, Virgo. Welcome to your reading for the week of November 24th. This week, you have this fortune teller card. It says, psychic gifts, unexpected news, intuition, external forces, future, the unknown, fate, and seeking answers. And this gift of money, it says, sudden financial change, windfall, small monetary increase, small win, quick turnaround, joy over money. Love it. The readings this week have been very positive for money, finances. I mean, the whole entire month of November, really. I think you're going to have to work for it. It's not going to magically appear in your life, of course, but I feel if you do the work, you will make it. The other thing is the tower. A lot of people have been getting the tower actually in the mid-monthly. I actually can't remember which one it was, but I'm pretty sure it was the mid-monthly readings where pretty much everyone except for two people had the tower. So, wouldn't surprise me if there was some sort of global tower moment or something like that going on this month. Or, maybe not even this week, but it might, just be this month. So something to pay attention to. I'm not too worried about the tower for you because we have the Page of Pentacles right here. The tower can just represent entering into new reality, and the Page of Pentacles is a new beginning. You also have the Fool right here, which is also a new beginning. So I always say the tower gets a bad rap in the tarot, and let's start here. In your current general energies, you have the Tower, the Page of Pentacles, and the Three of Pentacles. These people have been ignoring reality for too long, and they're coming down to reality. But it looks to me like you're just entering into a new beginning. Like I said, you have the Page of Cups, the Fool, which could definitely be you starting something new. And it could be a little bit of a surprise, or it could come out of nowhere a little bit here with the Tower, but we'll see what comes up when we clarify. You have the Page of Pentacles. Yeah, it kind of feels to me like you have a lot to learn here, Virgo. Not in a bad way either. It's like sometimes you can enter into a new reality and you have to be able to catch up quickly. And that is more of the feeling I get on the Page of Pentacles. Maybe there is a quick change coming in for you. It's really weird that I feel like this reading is talking about the rest of the month. I know that actually this is the last week of the month, right? So maybe for the next 2 weeks or something like that. It just feels like this reading is talking about, a little bit longer of a time frame. And I always say the universe doesn't wear a watch. So I don't try to yes, I put dates on my readings, but I don't try to get them to fit into that time if it wants to talk about more. And so I feel this is maybe until through the beginning of December. From now until then, where you're kind of having to learn things quickly. It just seems to me like you're being pushed into a new environment very quickly. This could be a random new job opportunity, or maybe you are getting a new job, or maybe you're just entering into new reality and you're having to learn more quickly, and that's what I would do. You have the Three of Pentacles. Definitely time to show off. This is going to come up for all three Earth signs, I'm pretty sure, Virgo, that, with Uranus going back into Taurus, there's something about it that I think is making Earth signs need to, show off more or show their skills more or put their skills out into the world more. He has done a good job. That is the whole point of the Three of Pentacles, is he's getting a lot of attention for the work that he's done right here. And so you could be getting a lot of attention for the work that you're doing. You have that Gift of Money card. You have the Hermit, which is you, showing up here as well. And, putting all that together, if you have done a bunch of work on something that you need to put on display, you have to show it off, then now could be the time to put your skills on display, which I'm pretty sure I've been saying to you all of 2025. I'm pretty sure that, something about that has been coming up for you. But now could be the time. And yes, it is a Mercury retrograde, but I don't care. People love to remind me of that. And it's yes, I know. But Mercury retrograde doesn't mean you pause your life. It means you just pay extra attention to the things that you're doing. And you can still do plenty of things. And also, by the way, if you've been working on something since before the retrograde, it's perfectly fine and acceptable to put it out into the world during the retrograde because you've already been doing it, right? And so that could be where your gift of money is coming from here, Virgo. But let's see what is going on for you. I don't know, with the Tower, you have the Ten of Cups, which is fortune after difficulty. So, maybe the Tower isn't even that bad. The Tower could say you already had a Tower moment, and now you are, having fortune after difficulty, or you're healing from that Tower moment, or finally moving past it with the Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups is a little bit of a blessing, Virgo, so, it looks to me like maybe you've been through a difficult period of time, and now you're finally having fortune after difficulty. With the Page of Pentacles, you have the Nine of Cups. Yep, again, pretty good. This could be something that you've wished for. Sometimes I feel that Nine of Cups with the Page of Pentacles says that you need to ask for something. So if there's something you want that you don't have, it might be time to ask for it. It might be time to ask the universe for something as well. And so, this doesn't have to be a person that you're asking for something for. But the Nine of Cups is about making a wish. The best thing to do with the Nine of Cups is asking, like, sure, that could be with your words, but with the Nine of Cups, we can ask with our actions as well. We can, the Nine of Cups, we have to be the thing that we want before we can have it. We have to match the energy. And, I always say one of the easiest things to do with the Nine of Cups is to adopt the habits of success. It's like whatever you want to be successful at, act as if you already have it and start doing the things that you would do if you had it, whatever the wish is. And if you do that, you'll probably get it a lot faster than you think. With the Three of Pentacles, you have the Fool. Yeah, definitely a new beginning. Whenever this happens, when we have a card here and then a card here, I feel that this is the universe is kind of zooming in on that Fool energy. And so these two cards are kind of providing more detail for the Fool, if that makes sense. The Fool is about taking the risk of looking foolish, right? So with the Three of Pentacles, if you have been working on a project or a business or an idea for a long time, it might be time for you to put that project or that business or that idea out into the world. And it could be a risk that you're taking. Like I said, he's taking the risk of people potentially calling him a fool because he's about to do something crazy. He's about to take a leap of faith off that cliff. And I definitely feel that you Virgos out there could be, it is a time for Virgo, I think, to kind of take that leap of faith, not try to be perfect, right? That's going to be your worst enemy right now with the South Node in Virgo. As I always say, South Node in Virgo, it makes everybody try to be perfect, but it's in your sign. So you're going to be feeling it a little bit more. Next, in the area of messages, what's coming in for you, you have this Fire card. It says, reckless action leads to conflict. You have this Air card. It says, seek a union of mind and spirit. So we are in a time of alignment. We have to be in alignment with what we want. Like I said, on the Nine of Cups, to get what we want. I don't really feel you're taking reckless action. Some people might say that the Fool could be taking a reckless action. So there's two thoughts on the Fool. The first thought is that he could be taking a leap of faith off the cliff. The second thought is that he could actually go down over here. And, we don't know, obviously, but there might be a path that goes down the mountain or down the cliff over here. So it's kind of like there's a safer way that he could do what he's about to do, or there's the risky way that he could do what he's about to do. I don't really feel that so much, but what I will say is that the Fool is looking up. He's not looking down at what is in front of him, right? So, it's kind of telling me that you are going to be taking a risk this week, but, maybe it would be a good idea to look before you leap, right? Just a little bit to have a plan. If, especially, there you go, I threw it. If you're taking a leap of faith or if you're putting something out in the world, have a plan that you follow. And I think as long as you do that, you'll be fine. You have the Hermit. The Hermit is you, Virgo. So whenever you show up as yourself, of course, it puts you in a position of power and strength and allows you to get what you want from the reading. I definitely feel it would be a good time for you to put yourself out there more. He needs to shine his inner light. He has this star in his lantern here, and he needs to shine that star out all over the place. He needs to make sure he's getting attention and standing out. So you've learned a lot, and the card itself says you've learned a lot. And now it's time to shine your light so that you can get attention and so that you can stand out. So, he has a lot of knowledge and wisdom, but no one knows that unless he shares it. So I would be, sharing your knowledge and wisdom at this time with the Hermit. You have the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is about, love, number one. So if you want love, sure, could be an admirer. Wouldn't really call it a love reading yet. That could change in a minute. But the Page of Cups, he needs to capture this fish right here. And that fish is his dream. So he needs to bring that dream down to earth. He needs to capture it and make it happen, whatever that dream is. And again, we have Uranus in Taurus right now. It's retrograding in Taurus. We have Neptune retrograding in Pisces. Two very strong placements for manifesting the impossible dream. Also, Saturn retrograding in Pisces. So with all that, as I've said to you probably a million times this year, we need to be trying to accomplish our impossible dream, whatever it is, and no matter how hard we might think it is, because I said so, and because we have a great opportunity to do it, and it's not necessarily going to be easy, but we all have a great opportunity to change our lives right now, and again, it's not going to happen overnight, but you will be happy if you do it. With the Fool, you have the Five of Pentacles. Yeah, this is definitely, I'm pretty sure you've had something similar to this many times with me over the past many months of 2025. The Five of Pentacles says, do not call attention to your weaknesses. There might be a lot of reasons why you think you can't do something, but if there's even just one good reason that you should, then you should. The Five of Pentacles has a very easy solution, and the solution is to double down on your strengths and to ignore your weaknesses. There are probably a lot of reasons why you can't do something, but like I said, if there's one good reason you can, that's what you should focus on with this energy. I get a little bit of feeling of like feeling like you're not ready, type of feeling. I feel like you are more ready than you think. And, that's probably what you need to realize. I just feel like you're overestimating something here, really, is what I feel. It's like, especially for those of you that are wanting to start something new or go down a new path or go get a new job or whatever, I feel like you're overestimating the difficulty. It's like, yeah, it still might be a challenge for you to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish, but you're like up here, but I think the challenge is like down here, and you think you're down here, right? So it's really something is not as hard as you think it's going to be. With the Hermit, you have the Justice card. I don't know, for whatever reason, I've been feeling for this month of November that we need to be careful of the Justice card. Not like in a bad way, but I feel like if you're thinking that everything is going to be like even or, perfectly fair, not going to happen for whatever reason. If you're thinking that, I can, put in 10 hours of work into this project and it'll work. Maybe not. Maybe you have to put in like 20 hours of work. And again, that's the best way I can describe how I feel about justice in November for whatever reason. It just feels to me like people could be thinking that things are going to be balanced when they're not, but like not really in a bad way. If anything, putting that 20 hours in will probably build your strength, which is good with the Five of Pentacles. We should be building strength with Five of Pentacles in a reading. But, we were talking about overestimating, underestimating, and I don't, it's kind of like one of those things. I feel like people really, I know what it is now, Virgo. I feel like people should not be just looking to get to a finish line. I don't think it's a bad thing, but sometimes I feel people like look for a finish line. They're like, if I could just get this, then I'll have made it, The reason I say this is next year is the year of the horse in, Chinese astrology, which is all about momentum. I've been saying it all 2025, that 2025 is a year of follow through. We have to charge all the way through something. We can't look at a point to stop at and just stop at that point. We have to go past it and keep the momentum going. And, I feel that's what the Justice card is saying for whatever reason. With the Page of Cups, you have the Page of Swords. You have 3 pages here. This could be a person that has their eye on you. I'm not really sure how I feel about it yet. Sometimes I get a feeling that when we have the pages switching like this, especially for those of you that are single, that it can represent a person who is kind of like switching around. It's like they're almost like in different energies at different times. Like they're wanting to talk with the Page of Cups. They're like an admirer with or Page of Pentacles. I meant with the Page of Cups, they're like an admirer, and the Page of Swords, they go back into hermit mode and they just spy. So I don't know. We'll have to see what comes up. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this Loyal Heart card. So could be good. You have this fork in the road as well. Yeah, we all have a choice to make right now. It's pretty simple. We just have to pick the new path, I feel. I also feel we have to pick the path of our heart. You have the Queen of Cups. We have Uranus retrograding in Taurus, and which really is a heart-based energy, I feel. I feel like it wants us to follow our heart to build and leave a legacy. Uranus in Taurus wants true freedom. And so obviously if we built a legacy in our life or something, that added structure to our life, that would probably be a good thing. And it would also be very good for us being loyal to our heart as well. Really what I think is going on right now for people is that we're all probably doing something that we think we should be doing. And because someone said so at some point in our lives. So it's like there are millions of people that have careers that they hate, right? And people do that because they think they have to. And the challenge right now is to not do those things that we hate and to do things that we want to do and to be loyal to ourselves. So, that's what I would be thinking about. Now, I don't think this is easy. Like, I am not trying to say like, oh, it's going to be super easy for you to quit your career and do something that you absolutely love to do. But I also don't think we're being required to do that either. I think what the universe is asking is that us to just try a little bit. It's like if you have a career that you hate, it's like, what do you really want to be doing with your time? Can you just try it just a tiny little bit, whatever it is? It could be like a project, a personal interest, business, a hobby, whatever. Can you just try it a little bit and see what happens, right? That's what I would do. Also, if you're attracting love, definitely could be love. You have the Hangman, the Queen of Cups, and the Five of Wands. Yeah, Hangman is going to come up like crazy for the next 7 years until 2033. That's 2 3s that I just said there for the people that need to clean out their ears. But, so I did not say 2023. So, again, clean out your ears. But the Hangman is about enlightenment, but with Uranus going into Gemini, Uranus is retrograde in Taurus, like I said. Next year, it moves back into Gemini, but it's already been in Gemini, and Uranus in Gemini is all about new perspectives, and the Hangman is all about new perspectives. So we need to be looking at things from different angles, and literally, it's like I can look at this card from this side, or I can look at it from this side, and there are multiple things that I see from each perspective, right? So anything that you're working on, it's like, can you gain a new perspective? Can you go learn from a new person? Can you see what happens if you try the opposite of what everyone is telling you to do? Can you see what happens if you learn something new? Can you apply a skill from something else in your life to what you're doing, right? That is going to be the superpower of Uranus and Gemini, is the ability to make connections between two things that are unrelated, right? It's like, imagine if you could apply cooking principles to your business, It's like there are things that apply between the two. And so people who are able to make those connections are going to be very successful. So, I think it's a good time to learn from multiple different things, because you never know what you can come up with that will, make you money, make you stand out, whatever. You have the Queen of Cups, which is all about following your heart. She really, really follows her heart. Her heart tells her to do something, and she does it, no matter what. So, like I said, we're in a heart-based time. I think we all have to do this. But the other thing is, at the end of the retrograde here, I think it would be a good time to heal your heart. This, retrogrades are great for healing, clearing up blockages, getting rid of things, and, all that. Also, Virgo, make sure to like and leave a comment. Really helps me out. You have the Five of Wands. I do feel there is competition for Virgos, and this will probably continue for a few years at least. But what I would say is, again, learning from the competition is the secret with the Five of Wands. If we learn, if we see what they're doing and what they're not doing, we can fill in the gaps and we can stand out. Again, it's really important to stand out right now. I've been saying this for years, since before even Pluto went into Aquarius the first time. I've been warning people about this, that, again, we have to stand out. We have to do something that makes us unique, and we have to gain experiences, right? Because that's how we can stand out. And so I would be thinking about that, especially in work or business. With the Hangman, you have the Three of Pentacles. Yep, twice in your reading. So you've probably been thinking about putting something on display with the Hangman, and I feel the Three of Pentacles is saying, hey, it's time for you to stand out. What do you know? With the Queen of Cups, you have the Sun. Even better. The Sun makes the whole entire reading more positive, but the Sun wants you to step into the light. It wants you to, step into the limelight, get the attention, and all that other good stuff. The Sun also is about making your life easier. Of course, life is never easy, but what can you do to make hard things easier, even if it's just a little bit, right? And I've been encouraging people to do that this year. 2025 is absolutely a year of simplification. I said this in all the 2025 readings. Just looking at the astrology, I feel that 2025 is like keep it simple, stupid, right? So anything you can simplify, I would. With the Five of Wands, you have the Eight of Pentacles. Yep, straightforward, diligent work. Again, very simple as well. He is just doing one thing. He's just keeping it simple. And he's focused on one project and one way of doing things. And, sometimes that is the answer. It's kind of funny because, I've been working in marketing since I was 16. And, it's like what I've noticed over the years is that it's like, it started here. Marketing online kind of started very simple, and then like it got super complex, and it's like now all the people that are very successful are like back down here. They're like just doing very, very simple stuff. They're not like running these like super complicated campaigns or anything like that. They're just keeping it simple, right? And it's like that's what I think happens. I think really, they say this, that people who like master their craft, it's like they learn, they get super complicated, and then they go back to doing the simple stuff, right? But they just do it very well. And so that is popping into my head with the Eight of Pentacles for sure. Also very good for money, by the way. This could be a lot. This could be you finally finishing a project with the Eight of Pentacles and getting money. Next, you have the Oyster. It says concepts, beauty, and resilience. You have a Silkworm. It says imaginativeness, paragon, and impassioned. Yes, very passionate time for Earth signs. So, following your passions, doing things that you're more passionate about would be a good idea. I also think focusing on how things appear with both of these cards would be a good idea. That's like another form of simplification, is like making things look good. It can be very simple, but can really make a big difference. So if you're working on any projects or ideas or businesses or working on yourself, right, keeping it simple there and with your how things appear could be very powerful. You have the, this is the area of the good stuff. I don't know if I said that, but you have the Nine of Cups, the Two of Wands, and the Two of Swords. Nine of Cups in the good stuff definitely says make a wish, right? So the Nine of Cups can be a wish or wish fulfillment coming in for you. With the Nine of Cups, we definitely have to, again, you have it twice in this reading, which is great, but, we have to be in the energy of what we want to get it, but I kind of feel like you are. You have the Two of Wands. Two of Wands about taking the lead. He is standing at the top of this castle, and he needs to get out into the world. I really like the Two of Wands in the good stuff because it kind of says you're making progress, you're moving forward. He's also leaving something behind that stands on its own right here, and he's moving forward towards his next big thing. So that's kind of what I feel for you, Virgo, is like you're moving on to your next big thing. You have the Two of Swords. Two of Swords is usually about being stuck in a stalemate, but in the good stuff, it says if you have been stuck trying to make a decision, that you are finally making a decision. With the Nine of Cups, you have the King of Pentacles. Very good. Financial stability. Sometimes I feel like the King of Pentacles can be a little bit boring because he's just comfortable, and which isn't bad, but it's like if something happens, he's not going to be comfortable anymore. So again, I think with a Justice card, that follow through and like don't just rest on your laurels, right? Don't charge past the finish line and keep the momentum going. You'll be happy that you did. With the Two of Wands, you have the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords is about getting clarity. She has clouds halfway up her body, and she's seeing clearly for the first time. A very good card for retrogrades, especially in the area of the good stuff. Retrogrades can bring a lot of clarity because they bring clarity based off of past things that we've been working on. And, this retrograde seems to be one of clarity. With the Two of Swords, you have the Ace of Cups. Again, a little bit of love here. This could be a love offer. I do kind of feel it with the 3 pages showing up here. But, the Ace of Cups can also be about you focusing on your own heart. Focusing on, like, what you want out of life. And I think that would be better. You have this Carriage card. It says a journey, either physical or mental. Yep. I do feel it's Two of Wands. Again, he has to get out into the world to have experiences. could be any type of experience. I always say we're in a time of variety as well. Two of Wands is about going places you've never been before, learning things you've never learned before. And, I think variety is going to be one of the currencies of the future. It's going to be very valuable. You have this cracked cup. It says dissatisfaction with life. I like this card because sometimes I think dissatisfaction is the thing that motivates us to make a change or do something better in our lives, and that's what I would do here. You have this crown. It says honor and respect will come to you. So yes, definitely could be claiming your crown here, Virgo, and it's probably going to be through putting something on display with the Three of Pentacles. You have this grapes card. It says time to go out and have fun. Yeah, all the readings for the mid-monthly readings and this week of the 24th have been about people needing to have more fun. So anything you can do to have more fun would be a good idea. You have this shark. It says, take care, there will be loss of material wealth. Yes, I think everybody needs to be careful with their money. I keep telling people, I wouldn't be worried about it, but I would have money on the side, right? I think, and if you make a bunch of money, don't spend it all in one place. But money, still looks good. You have that gift of money card. It says sudden financial change. So there could be, and it also says windfall on it. So there could be money coming in, but just don't waste it. But this looks really good, Virgo. Make sure to leave a comment, and definitely enjoy your week.